Now in its 9th year, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey everybody, this is Alex, and this is the Ramble, and we go until midnight tonight from that city down there. It's called New York. Ladies and gentlemen, that there is Lori Thompson, and the last time we talked to her, we had to cut her off halfway through her vacation.
Oh yeah, it was quite a texture.
So you
trip.
went from Lisbon, you went to Barcelona.
Yeah,
Then
we went to a lot of towns in Spain. Seville and just a lot.
Oh, Seville? Oh, that's
Yeah.
supposed to be very nice.
It is.
And
very
do they
nice.
let you off at Seville?
They did.
Uh-huh.
And but it was raining so bad. If the weather doesn't cooperate with you on a trip,
Well, this time of year, this is actually. Well, let me see here. What season is this there? Like it's always spring in Ibiza.
yeah,
It's always spring in Ibiza, but you have various levels of rain and so on and so forth. And the best time to go, I don't know when it is. I'll have to find out. I can't remember.
yeah, I think it's late summer. What would be for us late summer? I don't know that, but it seems like one of the things I heard were amongst.
Anyway, so then, so you stopped at a lot of different stops along the way.
Yeah.
And then it was over to where? Israel, I guess, and you stayed at the Gaza Hilton, I believe, didn't you?
Yes, a little noisy, but they're renovating.
They kind of avoided that area, didn't they, with the boat?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did, because there was much talk of the Red Sea. What about places that are scheduled to visit ports in the Red Sea? So it's always on the cruise radar. Unrest anywhere, because a lot of them go. There are a lot of people going to Israel, to visit, look up old family, and so you have to be cognizant of that. But then we went from Spain to France, which was great. Went to Marseille.
And then,
and went to a bunch of like Porto-Venir. I'm not even sure which country. I think that was in Spain. But the little gems.
Porto would be Spanish, yeah.
And you visit places that you maybe heard of, but
so they stopped obviously at Monte Carlo, right?
Yeah. And that was definitely a keeper. And then just all the little places that they sometimes offer you, and you can go. And we like the little places as much because there's a lot more low key. The history is conveyed in a more low key way. Yeah. And then we went to Italy, which was a blast, and went to Portofino, and I'd been to Portofino years ago, and so I wanted to go there, and it was fun. But the Lido Hotel, may she rest in peace, that's where I stayed the first time. So, because of the Boz Scaggs song, Lido missed the boat. We just drove into Portofino late one night. I said, Lido, it's good enough for Boz, it's good enough for me. Let's stop there. And then Rome, and this wasn't even the time.
I have never been to Rome.
You've never been to Rome?
In all my travels, I have never been to Rome, and one of the reasons was I always liked driving around Europe in those days. I don't know if I can even drive anymore. Okay.
Oh, Ben, you wouldn't want to drive in Rome.
Well, this is what I'm saying. I heard that the traffic was so terrible in Rome, stay away from it. So I've never gone into Rome, and I've never been to Venice.
Oh, Venice is awesome. Yeah, we didn't go this trip, but I love Venice. To me, it's just like it's obviously a place like no other. They don't have streets; they have aqueducts. No, it's just the whole idea of all the engineering problems they had to overcome to create Venice. To me, it's just miraculous.
Yeah,
and it's way lovely.
Yeah.
And
you should be sure you can swim.
Yes. Right. Or at least take some little water wings with you.
So
take one of those.
Then you were in Italy. So all these places in Italy.
Yes.
And then where did the boat go?
We ended up in Rome, and we stayed there for 5 days. Now there's a tour where you can go through Viator, I think it is, You can probably get them through others, but you go under the Coliseum. You see all the things that basically you see the production side of all the gladiator fights.
Right, backstage.
Yeah, backstage at the Coliseum. Exactly. And then you
well, what happened was they had an arena with dirt on it and all of that, but they also had trap doors.
Yes. Yeah.
And people would come and they'd watch this, and this was a big thing for the emperor to do. He did this for the people, so they would love him, and they would stage these huge shows. In that Coliseum, they actually staged naval battles.
Yes,
they'd fill it with water.
Yes, and that in itself is amazing. When you see it, how'd they plug that hole? How'd they plug that hole? Yeah, but they were able to do that.
They kept all the tigers and all the animals underneath, and then they would come through trap doors, and the gladiators would fight the tigers and so on and so forth. But they did everything there. I mean, it was incredible, and I think it was. How long did it last? About 100 years, something like that, maybe more.
I don't know. I think it was 100 years or less. Yeah, because obviously it was so inhumane, completely inhumane.
Oh, people love that though. I mean, you go to Spain. The one thing I've never done in Spain, and I wanted to do it.
I know what you're going to say.
Yeah, bullfights. Mm-hmm. Because the Spanish people are really wonderful people. They're gentle and they're decent and they're really, they'll do anything they can to help you. I mean, I always often describe the difference between France and Spain. In France, if you don't speak the language perfectly, they won't give you directions. And in Spain, they will spend an hour trying to communicate with you to tell you how to go 2 blocks.
Yeah, or just take you there.
Yeah.
They'll just take
That's
you
the
there.
difference between the Spanish people and the French people. Tooey on the French people. Anyway.
Yeah, but the underground at the Coliseum, they actually had elevators back then.
Yeah,
we saw the elevators, and they would take they actually had elephants as part of the entertainment on occasion at the Coliseum.
Yeah,
but so they didn't use the elevators for the elephants; that they used them for all the smaller animals. They had giraffes they would use at the Coliseum.
Yeah,
and like I say, the production side of those spectacles to me was really interesting.
You're fascinating.
And a tour guide too said, "You don't know, it wasn't Scandinavia, but it was Italy that invented the Lego, because they had this system of construction where they would have posts and then they would carve holes to give a column stability." Mm-hmm. And so that was and it fit just like a Lego.
Wow.
So I would recommend that tour too.
Either that or if you didn't build it right, it's like playing Jenga.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was like.
So you were there for 5 days.
Yeah, and
tell us about the hotel. Where did you stay?
We stay at the Grand Hotel Flora, which is a Marriott hotel, but and it's like $800 a night. But my husband, because he traveled so much for business, has like 1 billion points, and so we got to stay there for free. And as Reese Witherspoon says, you don't get cheaper than free.
He's not working anymore, but he still has his points, right?
Well, hotel points, yeah.
Hotel
he
points.
Accrued Merrill Lynch, because they are a good company. They were at least a classically good company that took care of their employees. Let him keep those points.
I have a friend who was a biggie at Merrill Lynch at one time. Yeah.
They took care of their people. I don't know if they still do, because they merged with Bank America, or Bank America bought them. They were really one of those classic American companies that treated you like family.
Yeah. But anyway, so you then took you got your plane back to the United States from Rome, right?
Yeah. And you know what? I think people are going to eventually stop traveling because the airports are so, just ludicrous. I mean, you wait in line to wait in line. It's just so ridiculous, man. And we're even on that pre-check. We're in the States, but that's only good in the States, where you can kind of cut the line. But it's just becoming so ludicrous. I don't get it. People are just going to get tired of being treated like cattle.
How do you get pre-check? You have to go out and fill out forms and
You have to fill out forms. You have to go to a place personally once you've filled out the form. It's a government program that basically pre-screens you for felonies and certain crimes and certain things if you have a criminal record. And if you're cleared, then you can go to the TSA pre-check.
But if you have a criminal record, you can't get pre-screened?
I don't know. I can't speak with authority on that.
Yeah.
They might ask you about it in an interview, and I don't know.
I mean, but I haven't committed any crimes. I haven't, none of that. But I'm 84 years old, and let's say I'd committed crimes in the past. Do you really think I'm going to do them now?
Right.
Do you really think I'm going to do them now?
And the want to, yes, to commit any crime. I don't even smoke in lavatories anymore. It's just, but that helps a little, but that's only on domestic.
Yeah. So it was a good little vacation. Sounds like it was terrific.
Yeah, it was a month warm up for the World Cruise because I was having apprehensions about the World Cruise. Like, can I really be in a room this size with that guy for 5 months? And so we did upgrade to a suite, which is a decent size, but it's not cheap, but I think it's more conducive to a married couple taking a world cruise and actually staying together.
So we won't be able to hear from you at that point because you've had trouble with Wi-Fi on these trips.
I have, and Ben, my intentions are always good, but like this time it was the time difference. We found a couple spots, like around, we were on these, we were early to these tours. I said, well, let's make a good spot. He goes, yeah, but it's 3:30 Bennett's time, a.m. I doubt that he's going to, as charming as you are, Laura, I doubt that he's going to wake up and want to chat with you at 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
So that was one thing. And just there's that one time we saw some people getting booted out of, it was where we were thinking of taking some video. And I don't know if video wasn't allowed. So a military looking guy came up and said, no video, no cameras. So we were like, well, I guess that checks this place off.
Yeah.
But it was in kind of a pier nautical area, so that might have been, no pictures of our Navy, no pictures.
Yeah. Well, we might be able to figure something out.
Maybe.
Because
I'm sure you could because you're
either that or we just won't hear from you for 5 months.
Yeah. Oh, but wouldn't that just kill you?
Well, I would love to do these things with you, say, sitting in I'm willing to. If you're willing to do it at 10 o'clock at night, I can do it at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah,
so
that's true. So that might be an angle.
If you can do it at 6 o'clock at night, then it's only noon here, so we're fine.
Okay, yeah, because we're gonna, and plus on the World Cruise.
Did you have a good enough Wi-Fi that you could do it?
Yeah, I mean I think so. But it changes. Sometimes you're given this pass, a Verizon thing, where you have unlimited Wi-Fi for the day. And then other times, other cities, we've been in cities where they must have had blanket Wi-Fi, which would be a better thing. But I'm not as astute as you are.
I know. But, most of the ships now have Wi-Fi.
But it's shitty.
But you can pay for an advanced version of it, can't you?
We paid for it. Rick paid for it, and it's
still shitty. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, everything takes so long to load, and anyway. But it would be fun. It would be a blast to be able to do some with you. But the World Cruise isn't until January.
Yeah.
So we have much bantering time between now and then to figure it out.
But it'd be nice if occasionally we could do one of these from somewhere in the world, wherever you were,
Yeah, well, if I could kind of tape some, do some. Well,
you see, we do this using Zoom, and Zoom doesn't take up that much bandwidth on Wi-Fi. Right. So it is much more, it's easier to do than a lot of other systems,
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I have people calling me. I have a guy who calls me all the time from Malaysia.
Really?
Yeah.
We're gonna hit Malaysia.
And he's driving around and he's showing us stuff out the window of the bus, and he gets good Wi-Fi. So you should be able to.
Yeah, we should. I mean, I don't always know the right questions to ask, but I will just keep asking dumb questions, and eventually someone will say,
well, we'll just bank 20 interviews before you leave.
Right. Well, stockpile.
Yeah. Well, we did. We banked them for this vacation, and I think I was 1 week short of having a thing with you, so I took the night off.
Yeah, there you go. You deserve it, man. Stay home with your missus.
Something I want to bring up, since we got about 10 minutes left, and if you don't want to talk about it, we won't.
Okay.
Is that you said you got to do this early today because you and your spouse are going to a lawyer to make up wills.
I know. It was his idea. If it were up to me, I'd probably die intestate. But he's very good with financial details. That's one of the reasons I was attracted to him, because I'm not. I am not at all.
Yeah.
And so he handles everything like that. And so he said, I made us an appointment at this estate attorney. And I was like, oh, that's nice. Do I have to go? And I guess you have to think about those things. See, he has a child. I don't have any dependents. I have my cousin who I'd like to leave some, and a friend of mine. But it's...
Well, we did wills online, and I told Marjorie, as soon as we get this money, let's go get a lawyer, and let's redo the just to make sure that, the one we have, we can just have them look at it and say, is this good enough? And if it's good enough, great.
Yeah.
But I just want to know that the one that we had made up that she got online, is legitimate and it's no problem to it. Plus now with this extra money coming in, there's more of a downside. If you don't have if the will isn't completely correct, does she get that money or do I get the money? I know I have the money; it's in my name, but But
you are married, aren't you? You're married.
Oh yeah, we're married.
Yeah, we're married legally, and so.
Well, I mean, let's say you're not married, but you can still go out and make a will and give each other everything.
That's right. Yeah, or you can do things with your property, like make a community property. Like I don't know. This is something I never would have concerned myself with, but to him, it's like a big deal. And that's because he had more money going in than I did.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've got some that I could live off from my parents, but I don't want to start spending it quite yet. And so I guess it makes sense. But see, the sticky thing is he has a child. I don't. And I really love his daughter. She's great, but I don't want to be left with nothing. I mean, I am self-serving enough to say that I don't want to be working at Hardee's when I'm 80. So that's what I feel like I got to look out a little bit for my interest. But we'll see how it goes. I may have horror stories next week. I may have.
Well, I mean, it's depressing to make out a will.
Well, I just see what money does to people. When my parents died and my sister suddenly became the executor, and suddenly things that I was guaranteed in writing weren't going to happen.
I told about 2 or 3 people about this money I was getting. Okay, how much it was, which is a considerable amount. Significant. Yes. And I learned after I told the third person, do not tell anybody about it.
Don't tell a soul.
Because what happens is, I can say it now, but what happens is, I had this one guy, comedian, I could tell you who he was, but you'd know who he was, but I'm not going to say who I was interviewing. And afterwards, I told him about this because I was excited about it. I just found out about it, and I was excited about this bequest.
Yes.
And the first thing out of his mouth was, "Can you loan me $10,000?"
That is such a sack in the solar plexus, isn't it?
And I said, no.
Yeah. No.
I know, because number one, I don't have it yet. And I'm not going to have it for a year or so. So, that bothered me though. And I suddenly realized that you have to be very careful who you tell about it.
Right, because some people just see dollar signs. Like after I got my parents' money, which wasn't, I couldn't just, live on Easy Street for the rest of my life and go on vacation. But I could live very comfortably on it. And people in my hometown knew, and I think they perceived that my parents had a lot more wealth than they did. But then one of the people I'd been friends with in high school comes up, she's having marital difficulties, and she wants me to pay for her rent on an apartment.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
I'm like, what? I wouldn't. No, I might do that for someone else.
Do not mention it to anybody.
Don't.
Do
not. It will cause you nothing.
I mean,
but hassle.
I've only told people now that I trust. Yeah.
That
I know the next words out of their mouths aren't going to be, "Can you lend me $10,000?"
That is so discouraging. I mean, it makes you can just feel yourself like it's almost like, blood running out of your body when someone that you thought was a friend.
My only problem is I have a tendency to want to give money to people who I like, and I really shouldn't.
It's a costly habit, Ben.
Yeah, it's a costly habit, but I'm kind of that kind of person,
Yeah.
And the thing is that I'm giving my business manager $10,000 off the top. I just want him to have it. He's been good to me all these years. When I was out of work, he kind of paid my bills,
I like your manager. He's a good.
Yeah, and I feel he deserves it, And there are a couple of other people that I feel I would want to. If I had the chance, I would give quite a few people money. People who are not doing well right now. People who blah blah blah. You
buy a one-man Salvation Army.
But I've got to be careful about that. That's how good I am with money. I give it away.
Right. See, I'm not. I know I'm not good with it. I married a guy that's really good with it, and we're content that way.
And I have about $200,000 in savings, so added to that money, Marjorie and I have to spend it, because we don't have any kids or nothing. So
that's right. Neither of you do.
Yeah. Now, if I were 60 right now, I'd put the money in the bank and live off the interest.
Yeah.
But I'm not that. I'm 84. Marjorie's 80. We got to go spend this money as fast as we possibly can,
Tell Marjorie to get on Amazon and stay on until it's gone.
Yeah. I mean, so, that's what I'm saying. Even if we keep going, we may not be able to spend this for the rest of our lives,
Oh, high-class problems.
Yeah. So but I thank my friend Shecky for doing it. I wish he were here. I wish I wasn't getting the money. When he first told me he made out a will, he said to me, "I'm leaving you so much," and I said to him, "Well, I want to thank you, and that's very nice, but let's face it, I'm 80. I was 83 at the time, I think, 82, and I said, I'm over 80. I said, you're going to outlive me, so I'm never going to see that money, but thank you." And I think it was a month later, 2 months later, he was dead.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? I mean, the way life throws you these curves.
And I thought, hey, that's very nice that he remembered me. That's good.
It sure is nice. Yeah.
And that he thought enough of me to leave me that much money. And,
that's a great.
And he said, I'm not leaving you the million because I'm leaving that to my other person who I consider my best friend, which is this woman that took care of him in later years.
Took care of him?
No. I'm talking really took care of him, got him to hot doctor's visits, things like that.
Oh, wow.
Oh, she deserves every penny. Okay.
Yeah.
And she's also the executor of the will, so I think she gets 10% of the estate for doing that.
I think you do. Yeah. That's.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think of the world of her, and I think I'm so thank her for taking care of him. And if I got $1 million, what would I do with it? I really have to waste it.
You'd have to spend twice as fast. There'd have to be two of you, doppelganger.
If I had kids, I would be very careful to try and leave it to them. Okay.
Yeah.
But
and the thing is, if you get kids and then there's one of those kids has a grandchild, has given your parents a grandchild, it gets so sticky. I can't believe that my family has become so cliche. The parents die and the kids, my sisters don't speak to me. And I'm the one.
Well, I know why, because you're an absolutely detestable human being.
Well, that aside, don't you think?
No, you're a detestable human being, so I can see. I wouldn't talk to you if I were your sister.
Yeah,
So.
no, you're probably being paid to talk to me now, right?
It always bothers me when I hear we're going to run over time here, but I don't care. When people have brothers and sisters and they don't get along.
I know.
And my whole feeling is life is too short. This is family. This is as close as family's going to get. You both came from the same vagina, you know?
Which is a very unique bond.
Yeah, no, but I mean, why families do this? And sometimes it happens when the parents die and the estate is settled. I hear about stories, or just horror stories, about what one member of the family will do to another to try and get the money and things like that.
And the way that people, when I've noticed, when someone does something that's in their interest, and it should have been in a shared interest, they rationalize it, first of all, instead of saying, I'm feeling selfish and I'm going to do this for myself. That I could handle, but it's the rationalizations that they give that just make no sense at all.
Right.
And the fact that they're willing to make fall guys of deceased parents.
Well, life's too short, and
short.
It's shorter than At 84, I'm looking back and go, I think it was Marlon Brando when he died. His last words were, "Is that all there was, or is that all there is?"
Oh man.
Oh no. What was that all about? I think that was something like that was his last words. And I think you do get to that point because you look back at it and, I remember, being 5 years old, and then my whole life happened. Now, these are years and years and years later, but when you're on this end of it, went by like that.
Yeah, because up until I was 18 or 19, life was pretty, steady and predictable. But from 19 on, man, it became a locomotive.
The other thing that bothers me, and again, I say we're running over, but to hell with it. You people out there are waiting online to come on the show. Just wait a little bit more. I guess what really, amazes me is we are, if you think about us in the universe, you and I are just specks. We're like some kind of thing that floats through the air that's like a little piece. We're nothing. We're nothing. And to us, we're everything.
That's it.
We are there. If there's a center to the universe, it's right here.
That's right. And, actually thinking of us as a speck has helped me get over my bad self. Yeah. Just knowing that if there's a hassle in my life, I'm the one making it. And just do everything you can to love the people around you, love the people that are important to you, and then make your mistakes, but don't make them again.
Yeah, right.
Living.
So as I get closer to that, I'm scared.
Are you scared yet? Then
yeah,
it'll be a walk in the park. I promise you.
Be a walk in the park. Okay.
Yeah. And it's not just.
I try to think if there is something else, because it seems useless that I've gained all this knowledge, all this ability, and everything, and when I die, it disappears.
I don't think it disappears. I think it joins with other ideas that will be appreciated, and you create in a sense this body of appreciation with like-minded souls.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a good thing.
Yeah, well, anyway. Hey, listen, good to have you back. At least we got you until January.
Yeah, it's good to be back.
At which point we should go on a big tour, too. The world tour. That's going to, by the time you get back, you're going to be so squirrely.
I wonder, yeah. But I'll be, what is wonderful? It really brings you down to earth when you travel a lot, because you realize that you're that speck. And that helps make life more relaxed.
How big a boat, just one last question, how big a boat is the one that you're taking around the world?
I believe it's, I know it's 700 or less.
Oh, really?
So,
good.
Yeah, so I'll get to know everybody.
Let me know where it is and who it is and what it is. Marjorie doesn't want to go that long, but I might say to hell with her, I'm going. You know.
Well, that's what Rick. I got an escape clause. I said, you know what? If I find out that if I realize I'm miserable after 2 months, I'm going to get on a plane and come back home. And he said, okay, I'll drive you to the airport, but I'm not coming back. So it was like, okay. And once I had that out clause, I was fine. And then when we
Sounds like you guys travel real well.
We do, but that's because I'm such a good sport.
Okay, anyway, that's it for now. We'll see you in 2 weeks, I guess. We're recording these things, but we'll see you next week, obviously, with a new episode of Alex and Lori, who could talk forever, folks. Thanks, Lori.
Bye-bye. Love ya.
Now in its 9th year, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Oh, I have to turn on my microphone so you can hear me. Hi. Wednesdays I always screw up like crazy. I always do, for some strange, odd, and unusual reason. But anyway, nice talking to Lori again. I hope you enjoy her as much as I enjoy her. And I think maybe it's time that we should check in on our people here. Boy, we got quite a few waiting here. That bodes well. Okay, there we go. Oh wow, there we go. We got our old friend Jeff, and there's Kevin, and there is Alan, and there is Josh, and there is Brian, and there is Charlie Wallace. Hello, Charlie. How are you?
Hey, Alex.
Okay, people.
Hello, Lori. You can talk all day to her.
Yeah,
she's good, but I was a little confused at her last comment. She's going to be on this cruise ship, and if she wants to get off, her husband's going to drive her to the airport. What, across the ocean?
No, so she can fly back from wherever they are.
I know, so she can fly back, but how does he drive her if they're on a cruise ship?
he rents a car and drives her to the
port. Yeah, when they get
I thought they were staying at sea.
Don't explain the stuff to him.
What about marriages don't you understand?
Well, I understand that I didn't get married, so that I understand.
Yeah, let me see here. What does your T-shirt say tonight?
Opening 10 years.
What does your T-shirt say tonight, Charlie?
People who tolerate me on a daily basis, those are the real heroes.
Oh,
this
boy.
guy's got great T-shirts.
Oh, he has the best T-shirts. I'm just boring with mine. There's still all the 1939 T-shirts.
I still wear the same ones with the neck pulled down and.
Yeah, but I was thinking of getting like some T-shirts like he does, but then I could never top him. So do you actually go looking for these things, or do you have them made up sometimes?
No, I go looking for them. I don't get them custom designed or anything. Is this every once in a while?
Yeah, like one thing on Facebook, and you're getting everything.
Yeah, then they show you a whole bunch of stuff, and every once in a while it looks good, so I'll buy it.
Yeah.
The rich folks.
Anyway, welcome to another wonderful week here.
Yes.
Is this the 9th or the 10th year?
Huh?
This is 10th year.
It's the 10th year. Steve Fox said this in our 9th year.
No, our 10th year does not start till the beginning of next month.
Yeah.
I got it now.
My bad.
No problem.
Jeez. And you don't think we already have those recorded?
I believe you do, but I thought last week
I even have the opening made.
I thought last week you said that it was going to happen this week, so my bad.
No, he talked about how it was getting ready to come up. That's what
and
made
even
me
Charlie was confused, but that's okay.
Again, we're explaining stuff for Alan. Can we get the show going? Jeez.
Should we talk about
Half
Brian?
the show's been explaining stuff for Alan. Come on.
Yeah, but anyway, no, it's June, the 1st of June.
Yeah.
We can officially call it that. Yeah. Plus, I haven't made up the imagers yet. I just made up the opening to this show. with all new visuals and things like that, you know. And a surprise we don't say now in its 10th year.
Mm-mm.
What do you think we say? Do you have anybody have an idea what we say?
Decade.
Huh?
Decade.
Yeah, I agree with you.
No.
Starting
Well, I
a
could have
second
said
decade.
decade, yeah, but I didn't say decade.
Oh.
Celebrating its first first era.
Ah,
Interesting.
Oh, that's right. The Taylor Swift part. Yeah, that's right. That was.
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Are you going to have an intro of
well, an
Brian
era's 10
driving
years.
the Ferrari
Era's
around?
10 years as well, right?
Mm.
Huh?
10 years. Wow.
I thought an era was longer than that.
An era? Yeah.
That's me.
Oh well.
I don't know.
Anyway,
I mean, he's the scientist.
I'll
you
live
know.
with it anyway for the next year. The hell with it.
That's more history than science, Alan.
Huh?
Oh.
So eras are more history than science.
Yeah, I guess so. I just wanted to blame you.
Well, I should have said maybe is celebrating its first decade. Yeah. But era sounds better.
Yes, it does.
Era sounds more like we've been on for a long time, you know. Actually, I've been doing internet broadcasting for longer than that.
Yeah.
You know, my
Century.
huh?
Close to a century.
You're one to talk.
I'm no spring chicken.
No, you're no spring chicken at all.
No.
But yeah, I'm just I don't know. I've been a little weirdly depressed today, and I don't know why. I think as I mixed a couple of my medicines last night that I shouldn't have, and so I'm kind of depressed.
A little
Now I'm
buzzed.
even more depressed because I should have said decade instead of era. But to hell with it, it's already done. Actually, the things we do, the ones that we do on the program, not the opening to the show, are all now in its 10th year. So,
Oh,
yeah, 10 years doing this. Why? Why?
so you have a presence.
Well, you know, I mean,
That's what Phil says.
This year, hopefully, we will be going away for a couple of trips. You know,
Good. You owe it to yourself and Marjorie.
Yeah.
I got to tell you though about getting the money. I got it. Okay, I got it in one check. I don't know why they sent a check. Why they didn't say to me, "Can we do a direct deposit?" Because if they do a direct deposit, then the bank doesn't question the check. All right. So now I deposit the check the other day, and I'm told, well, it'll be a week before it gets deposited into your account. Like we have to make sure it doesn't.
Yeah. Only a week, huh? I thought it'd be a month.
Oh no, a week, a week.
I was surprised that I could do mine on the phone.
Really?
Yep.
I asked them down there if I could do it by a couple of weeks ago when I was planning on it. Could I do it by on the internet? Where you take a picture of it and then you sign it. And so
Yeah.
on. And they said no,
Not that much.
not
no.
this much.
Mine said yeah, and they did.
Well,
I went, huh?
How much was yours?
I don't want to say.
Huh? Come on,
That's
we
something
want
I'll
to steal
keep to
money
myself.
from your account. Come on.
Hmm.
No.
My bank limits it to 10,000. Anything more than 10,000, you got to bring it in person.
Yeah, and you gotta wait while they go and make sure the thing
Well, I'm assuming Charlie never goes to the bank.
Can be
I
cashed.
haven't gone yet.
Yeah. It's like they take the check and put it between their teeth and go, see if it's okay. But anyway, I just don't know why nobody did it with direct deposit. That would have been the easiest way to do it and the most efficient. Here's what happened. I got this thing in the mail, right? The envelope from the lawyers. And I go, okay, so they mailed it through the mail. Well, what if it got lost?
Yeah.
Right? But that wasn't the worst part of it. I checked, and they didn't lick the envelope shut. They taped it. They taped one little part of it shut. I'm going, are they nuts? They do this for a living, right?
They're tired of paper cuts on their tongue.
Yeah, at the end.
Well, no, but I mean, you would think
Use
they
a
would
peel
know
and
after
stick.
all these years of doing this,
Right.
let's do direct deposit, let's do this, let's do that. I don't understand it. But anyway.
The good thing is you deposit the check, and
What?
while it's on hold, they're paying you interest.
Yeah, they are paying interest on that. Yeah.
It's a federal law.
Really?
Yeah,
Banking law.
Oh,
Yeah.
that'd be interesting.
Well, if they hold it for 7 days and you have an interest-bearing account, they got to pay you interest while they
I don't
hold
know if
it.
it's an interest-bearing account or not.
Oh.
See, I'm probably going to take the money out of there and put it somewhere else. Because as my business manager said,
Get the money, Ben.
huh?
Get
Yeah.
the best interest on it you can. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. But the question is, do I want to keep it in my normal bank?
No,
Because
spend it.
Am I going
No,
to get
my
the
bank's
best
got room. You
advantage
can send it.
out of my money with that kind of, the normal bank? So I don't know. We're seeing a money guy in a week in order to see, what's the best place to put this money where I can draw it out whenever I want to, but it's gaining some kind of interest and so on and so forth.
Is that a referral from your business manager?
What?
Is he a referral from your business manager?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you.
Mhm.
Please.
Yes.
For me,
Oh no.
for me, liquid money goes into a liquid money market account. It's like a high interest checking account.
Yeah, but can you then pull money out of it at any time?
Absolutely.
Money. Well,
Whenever you want.
as much as I like your opinion about stuff, I'll wait to talk to this guy.
Not an expert at it, but I'm making pretty good money
Well,
right
this guy
now.
is. So,
Good. You can refer him to me. I could use a money manager.
I mean, he may tell me just keep it where it is. We don't
Sure.
care.
Buried under the mattress.
But my business manager today said, well, I got to spend this money before I die. I don't want to leave any on the table, right? Because I don't have any kids or anything like that. We don't want to leave any of it on the table. And then my business manager said, yeah, but what if you live like your mother to be 100 and you eat up all that money?
Yeah.
And I'm going, the worst part about this whole thing is, who knows when you're going to die?
Yeah, but if you didn't have that money right now, you could still live fine, right?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so then spend it. Jesus.
That's exactly
Please.
how
We want to
I
go to
feel.
your funeral and say, oh my God, he just got back from all year traveling and we want to be happy about it. Jeez. We don't want to say, geez, he saved everything. We get it all. Who's going to get it? So
Yeah, but
have fun with it and enjoy it.
Yeah, well, that's that's how I feel. But
Yeah.
all of a sudden I got my business manager going, but wait a minute, you could live to
No.
be 100, and I'm going, well, if I live to be 100, I'll get the state to take care of me.
Yeah, exactly.
There's got to be some charity that you like that you could leave.
Oh well,
some
we're
of it.
gonna leave the whatever's left over to some charity.
Yeah, but that charity, come on.
Yeah. I think I'll leave it to the Trump campaign.
Oh, please, no.
Bag up.
I'll make sure you never die.
What were you gonna say, Brian?
My friend's on a dating app, and he and I were chatting tonight, and he said that there are actually people that are putting, like, if you're a Trumper, please swipe left, I guess, which would be like,
That's on my dating app. I do not want any Trumpers or.
really? Wow, that's
Yeah.
That's why Brian can't get a hold of you on that.
I do not want to be fighting about politics at home.
yeah.
Well, I think I would put that on mine too. If you're a Trumper, please don't even apply.
Yeah, that's pretty. But Charlie, sometimes you look at her and just go, God damn it!
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't care how. Sarah Palin never appealed to me, no matter how cute she was.
Well, I thought Sarah Palin was kind of hot.
So would you date Christy Nome because she shoots dogs?
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
Well,
These
Christy
people,
Nome is sexy.
Oh,
Right.
You know. Oh, wait a minute.
She'll shoot your dog.
But I would never go
If
out
he's
with
out of
her.
hand, if he's too happy.
The dog is too happy.
Just having the time of his life. So of
Take the
course
son
he
of a
had
bitch out to the gravel pit and take care of his ass.
Well, she said that he was a lousy dog because he wouldn't.
He was too happy.
Well, he was too
Cricket was too happy.
He was too happy, and he wouldn't do something, and then
He wouldn't
turned out
hunt right.
He killed a chicken, and she shot him for that.
Sounds
He's
like
a
Hitler.
bird dog. A chicken's a bird. What did she expect?
Yeah, yeah. So
Right.
anyway,
Shoot
I
the
don't-
damn thing. Deserved it. Damn it.
Sounds like
Christy
Hitler.
Nome, do you think she's going to be Trump's vice presidential choice?
I would hope
Awesome.
so because that would ensure he'd lose.
Yeah,
I was just gonna say, he'll definitely lose if he takes her.
I think it's.
Oh, hell no. He'll gain more and more people. He'll take over then.
I think it's getting less and less sure that Trump will be elected. There are a lot of people who are now saying, well, you know,
I don't know. I'm thinking about jumping over, man.
Don't you have to swim across the Rio Grande first?
I can do that.
No.
because they're saying that the trial is not helping him. You know,
Yep.
and a lot of it has to do with his demeanor. That you know he's like falling asleep. You know.
But Trump people like that.
Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. I got to get rid of this guy.
We've seen him
Put
before.
it in the waiting room. There we go.
Oh yeah.
He always calls up every time he calls up or tries to get on. He
Is in the nude.
he's in the nude. He's sitting
Yeah.
there naked. You know, and
Why doesn't he call an old lady show or something like that instead of an old man show?
what do you mean an old man show?
All of us are a little bit on the older side, so I call
Well,
somebody
Well-
called me an old man in Costco the other day, so I feel I'm old.
the youngster here actually is Josh.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now, here's a guy named Tyson Acosta, who is on our chat
Yeah, he's
room
on the
a
chat.
lot, but I don't know if that's him.
Well, ask him on the chat.
You see, Tyson Acosta is on the chat right now,
Is
so this
that
guy is probably trying to
you?
sign on as Tyson Acosta.
Well, we just asked him right now. I just
Hey,
asked him.
Tyson's, is it you that's been trying to get in? That's trying to get in, Tyson?
I just asked him.
Oh, did you
in
just
the
ask
chat.
him? Yeah, and what does he say?
It is not me, he says. No.
It is not you. Okay, so we'll remove him.
Okay.
I don't want to report it.
Why doesn't somebody just say they're Donald Trump? We immediately admit them.
Mm-hmm. Let's see here. There we
I'm
go.
waiting. I'm waiting in open court for the Trump's attorneys to say if you had sex with him, the two women, how big is his penis? Oh, it happens. I mean, in seriousness, you know that ought to be.
Well, that
interesting.
question's already been asked of Stormy Daniels, and she
Yeah.
said basically,
Yeah,
it's the
well, she
size-
said about the size of a small mushroom, right?
yeah. So you know,
In other news,
in other news, yeah. So anyway, it's I was thinking about today. I was thinking about the.
I was just joining to see you. I was
Okay.
here to join to see you. I'm 21 now. I'm 21.
Yeah, well, you're also out of here, pal.
How did he get back on?
I don't know. I clicked.
Use the same name he used a few minutes ago.
Yeah. I clicked it by accident.
Wow.
Remove. I see if I go remove, and then I go here. and I
I'm
go-
21. Good.
Yeah.
We don't give a shit. You can be 14 as long as you're
That makes you
polite.
go naked.
Hmm?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess he isn't used to. He really likes to get removed a lot. Well, I just won't even pay attention to him.
Was that good Mogan David wine left over from Passover, Jeff?
No, it was unfortunately that wine is always the worst.
Oh, absolutely.
What, the wine on Passover?
Oh,
Yes.
absolutely.
Oh yeah, it's Mogan David. It's Manischewitz.
Oh God.
You know what you really do, I think, if you want to really have fun on Passover, is you just put them in the freezer, make popsicles out of them, and suck on that. You know.
A good
That'd be a
idea.
pretty cold freezer.
Wouldn't it be
Alcohol
funny if they
freeze.
had Mogan David or Manischewitz style popsicles? That would be nice. That would be good.
Good idea.
That would be terrific.
license it?
Start your own business now. Now that you're
Yeah.
got extra money, maybe you should start your own
Start
business.
some business.
Yeah, sure. I want to go into business now. I just want to have I just like to have some time not having to be tired all the time and so on.
Mm.
You know, and I'm just tired of being tired. So I just want to get on that vacation and go see the world and do a few things, you know, and then after that I'll pack it in and sit around, do nothing, you know. But anyway,
Make sure you get good Wi-Fi so we can do the show
what do you mean good Wi-Fi? Where?
on the ship.
Oh, they don't have good Wi-Fi on any ship. I've talked to people about Wi-Fi on ships, and I was talking to Lori about it, and she tried, but you can't. If you upgrade to their better plan for Wi-Fi on a ship, it still sucks.
No. Well, the last time I was on a cruise ship was almost 20 years ago. I don't think Wi-Fi was invented by then. I don't know.
All the ships have Wi-Fi now, but it's not supposedly very good. At least that's what I hear. You know.
It was like $10 a minute the last cruise I went on.
Holy moly! Wow.
$10 a minute? No, they're not that now. But you pay something like $10 a day or something, and then they don't give you a lot of
$10 a day.
they don't give you a lot of bandwidth, you know.
Mm.
So
Hey,
anyway,
Pam. Was it any good?
what
Oh, she's talking about the Wi-Fi.
what was any good? The Wi-Fi?
What did she say, Jeff?
That it was good.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what we do here takes a little bit more bandwidth than, say, sending an email or sending a text or something like that, you know.
Well, what she's not saying is they hadn't left the port yet.
Oh, Alan.
Oh, Alan. So anyway, we had this whole thing going on up at Columbia University, and last night they sent the cops in to close it down.
Yeah.
About time.
Now, I don't think it's about time. I think Columbia University handled this very badly from the get-go. The best way to diffuse something like this is to sit down and talk with them. But the trouble is that some of these universities are so full of themselves that they don't want to do that.
I wonder how many of the students that started this were actually students.
That's the problem.
Thing. Yeah. There's a lot of outside agitators.
We've gotten 2 emails from U of O, and they've said that there's a lot of outside influence that are coming in and stirring up the crap, and then people are coming in and sitting there going, "Oh yeah, right, he's right, yeah," and they're not sure what they're talking about.
Right,
and that's the problem. And there's professional agitators out there.
Well, the problem is they found that there were people from the outside who were not members of the,
University.
Of the university,
right?
There, and they went in and were making the trouble. That the
that's what I just said. Yeah.
Yeah. That the students were not making that kind of trouble. I mean, they were protesting and they were camping in and they were doing all those things. They were doing what they felt they needed to do to protest the university's
Well, Columbia is private property, right?
Yeah, well, all universities
No,
are private.
all universities are public property.
Ah, see, that's what I was trying to.
What
I
do you
didn't
mean
know.
they are? I thought they were
Public
private.
property.
No,
They
are
right.
public property.
They
say that in the both emails that we got. The universities are public property, and the public is allowed on, and they're invited to be on, but they must follow the rules of the university.
Yeah, but these are students. This is even different from people who just want to visit.
Well, what I'm saying is that there's students there now, but the people that are starting up this stuff are agitators, professional agitators. And then the students join in saying, oh yeah, you're right. And then it becomes a mix of both.
Well, what is
and the ones that are making most of the noise are the shit disturbers.
Yep.
Well,
and that's my point, because that's exactly what's happening. And this is what's happened before. And this is what Trump is going to feed on. He's going to jump in there and say, look at all this, and that's what he's doing today in Wisconsin. And he's going to use that as his little ploy. Look at the way the country is all screwed up now, because, and it could be, I don't know if it's his people or it just, quote unquote Antifa. Yeah, it's going to be Antifa.
Yeah. Well,
and these people are going to be in there, and it's just caused total chaos. And it could, there could be a 10% to 90% or 80%, 20% of shit disturbers and people that actually care about what the cause is. That's what I'm saying. And the ones that make the most noise are the ones that get all this coverage and everything.
Well, I don't know that that's necessarily true.
Well, that's what they're saying, and
yeah. Well,
I don't put it past them.
Well, here's what I believe. There were people who went up there who were not students at the university, Columbia University, which, by the way, in all the news reports that I saw locally, said that Columbia University was private property. They had to let the police come on last night. They had to give them permission because it was private property.
Well, Columbia might be, but
yeah.
They're saying that the University of Oregon and anything that's a state university, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, state's totally
different.
Yeah, that might be a private university. That could be different.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So Josh might know more about this, but if it's a private university and they want you off, they call the police and you come off. If it's a public university, I think anybody can walk across campus that wants to, because it's public.
Tell that to Greg Abbott. They're bashing students over the head with batons and shit.
Well,
okay, what's wrong with that?
Out in California, Gavin Newsom, much to his credit, came down on the police at UCLA, saying they acted wrong.
LAPD, it was on the news last night, went in there because the university asked for help, because the university police, Cal State University or whatever, couldn't handle it. And they went in there.
Didn't even ask for help. Abbott just sent the National Guard there.
Really?
Yeah.
What was wrong with the Austin Police Department?
Nothing.
Oh, well, they should have been the first responder.
Well, what I believe is that the police, if they're going to go in, should ask people to show them a student card. And if they can't produce it, you throw them out. You get rid of them. You arrest them or you do whatever you're going to do. But if they are a student, I think they have the right to protest.
They have the right to protest, but not destroy property.
No, destroying property, you can fucking destroy property all you want to, and I'm going to tell you why. Yeah, and that's a cop mentality. You as a policeman, your only job in life was really to defend property, not to defend people. Am I right, Charlie?
They should be defending people, but they're defending property. You'll get bashed over the head more for breaking into someplace than you will be for beating somebody up.
Property is inanimate. Human beings aren't.
Yeah.
And to say they're destroying property, oh, that's horrible. Well, it ain't good. But
I'm not saying it gives the police a right to hit them, tase them, pepper spray them, or anything. But I think it's wrong that they're destroying property. If they want to protest, they have the right to protest.
Have fun. Destroy the property. The university's insured.
I think the guy that was smashing windows at UT with a hammer, they ought to throw him in jail.
Sure.
Right, there you go.
Sure, but that guy probably wasn't a student.
Yeah,
that was probably one of these shit disturbers. You know,
yeah.
And that's a whole different game. You know, those people should be dealt with, because what they're doing is they're coming into a situation which
taking advantage of it
is tentatively incendiary and creating an incendiary situation. But you know, these guys are
criminals.
I won't say they're criminals. You say they're professional shit disturbers, and I wonder, when you say professional, you know, I got to give them credit. They're professionals.
What makes you?
They're professionals. They're not amateurs. You know? And what do they do as a professional shit?
How do you work up to that?
Huh?
How do you work up to professionals?
Well, you have to go to another college first and study shit disturbing, and then you can become a professional.
Like you, he's got some.
Well, actually, there are trade schools that teach shit disturbing.
Isn't that what Trump University taught?
Oh, that was bogus.
Yeah. What were you going to say, Jeff?
I want to have a different opinion, but I've heard a lot of the information, and it kind of runs around. But from what I understand, there was a whole bunch of people who were part of the university, students and doctors or whatever they are, the bosses, you know, and they were all very negative about the whole idea between Israel and all of that stuff. And a lot of the people decided that, you know what, they're going to get really bad about expressing, in addition with more people, that there's problems, and they're going to continue to make it worse. Well, they said, you know what, we're going to split up the group. We'll take a small group, whoever wants it, you know, and you ought to join the group, and you expect you're going to get arrested. Guaranteed the police are going to get you originally. The rest of you can stay on the other side. You don't get in the building. You're a student, you're a university, you're a professor. You can complain all you want, but you're not doing anything.
Listen, let me ask you this question. Don't these kids have the right to complain? In that, what are they paying each year for tuition at this university? Aren't they the boss?
Yes.
I think Columbia
Well, I'll tell you what.
$5,000 a year.
Huh?
You want to hear from me?
What? Yeah.
I told my daughter she better go to class and don't burn my money on the lawn of the freaking. That's what I told her.
What's happening up at her?
Oh, they started an encampment on Monday, and we got an email on Monday about what they were doing in the main quad, the memorial quad, and it was 20 tents. And then we got one today, and I read about 2/3 of the email, and they said it was getting bigger, and that they were going to take care of things if it got out of hand.
Yeah. Well,
I said, okay. Go for it. Then I called my daughter and said, have you been around there? She said, no, I'm going to class. I said, good. Don't torch my money.
When she got off the phone, she's making the hate signs.
Oh, shit.
Did he buy it? He bought it. Let's go. Isn't it final?
And then I'm watching TV every 10 minutes.
Kevin just took you off the Christmas list for that, Tony.
They're all getting take-home tests. Don't worry about it. Make your hate sign.
Yeah, well, you know, I wonder about. I do think that there were troublemakers who go in there. Those people should be identified and thrown out.
They've been identified.
Been
some
identified
of those crowds
and thrown out. If you're a student, I think you have the right to protest. You're paying the university a crap load of money, right? They're making their money off of you and some grants they get here and there. and you should have the right to do this. I mean, if you feel that your university is complicit in doing business with Israel, and that money that's going to Israel is going to kill people in Gaza, you have a moral right to protest that.
If they are. Do your research and then
they
go
are.
do
They
it.
are at Colombia. Colombia admitted
Okay.
that they are doing business with Israel.
That's a different situation. But if they go to, all these other universities across the country just copycatting, that's bullshit.
Well, you got to admit the one in Colombia was the first one.
Yeah,
Right.
And it was
Yeah, it
all
was.
it was all based on
Sure, and then went to Yale, and then
but on
With the Ivy Leagues, yeah.
yeah,
and then in New Mexico,
I'll tell you, Dartmouth has handled this very well. The first day,
much better. Yeah.
What did they do? The first day it started happening, they sat down with the students and had a meeting with them and said, "Look, let's talk this out. Let's figure out where we can come to some common ground." And they pretty well killed that demonstration just by talking. Columbia, on the other hand, didn't do anything of the kind. It was so badly handled. So
universities.
What are you going to do when this moves from the universities to private businesses?
You think it will?
what do you mean to private businesses? Explain.
I don't
that.
know. Maybe.
No, but no,
'cause
explain that one. You're
Yeah.
I can if you. So
I don't think it's anything
Facebook's
keeping.
Facebook's founder is Jewish, and he supports
The pieces.
Israel. And so, what's going to stop people from doing this in Facebook too, or other businesses that support Israel?
he is Jewish, is he?
Yeah, Zuckerberg. I think he is. Yeah,
Zuckerberg.
Zuckerberg.
Yeah, he's early on. He said he gives money to Israel.
Okay.
When he's
He has a right to spend his money the way he wants to.
right, but what are you going to
And
do? When
I
people
have
start
I have
protesting?
the right to decide where I'm going to put my posts.
Absolutely.
So he is
Facebook Marketplace.
yeah, it's in the marketplace, and I don't have to do business with him if I don't want to.
I'm not saying a matter of doing business. I'm saying when these protesters move onto his property and start damaging stuff.
That is private property.
Well, that would be
Absolutely private property.
But you're setting up a situation that doesn't exist and hasn't existed.
Yeah,
Okay,
I mean-
so don't try and make that an argument.
Trump's little things went to January 6th. So we all blew off Trump's little bashes here and there, and then it blew up into January 6th. So I wouldn't put these things beyond. I don't know if it's going to happen.
Well, no, but now that you've suggested it, maybe somebody will think that's a good idea.
I've already heard it
Put the
from
word-
people.
I think it's going to blow over after the colleges. I don't see it having.
These demonstrations, this kind of
I hope you're right,
demonstration,
Tony.
only happens, believe it or not, during the end of the school semester.
It's the finals now
During
for these
finals,
kids.
They're in midterms right now.
and
Yeah.
midterms and
Let's
whatever.
not take any tests, though, right?
Every time they've ever had demonstrations, whether it was the war in Vietnam or
I was watching a documentary on that. Yeah.
bunch of different things that they protested over the years. It's always about the same time of year. It's like it's protest season,
This is it now, right? They
Well,
don't-
Josh, what's your thinking on this? You've been very quiet tonight, and
Not sure what some of the protest at colleges is really accomplishing. I mean, in many of these cases, the colleges are not, participants in this, this war, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
They're not really funding it. I mean, maybe they do some business with businesses in Israel. I mean, it's a global economy. It's a little hard not to. It's not as if Israel is North Korea. I'm sure my company sells paint in Israel if they're asked to. I know the last one I worked for.
no, but that's not what they at least at Columbia. And I can't say for the other schools because I don't know about the other schools, but Columbia is deeply invested in Israel financially.
But
And
they were
that's what
deeply invested in Israel when all those people started going there, and now the situation has changed.
Yeah, but
It's
at
just
that
the
point,
same as the Facebook,
at that time, you didn't have Israel doing what they're doing in Gaza, for instance.
Then they can leave Colombia.
Well, they can leave Colombia, or they can stand to make their school live up to what they think they should live up to, you know.
And they can do that in ways that don't involve destroying, the school's property.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
But why are we so upset by the destruction of property? That always bothers me.
It's not yours. Our framers were appalled by the destruction of property, even though it took place quite a lot. They were appalled by it. I mean, they couldn't even fathom that one man would destroy another man's property in the name of something that should have been, because they believed it didn't accomplish anything.
This isn't the same as private property, though. This is a school.
Why not?
This is a school. This is a building in a school.
Yeah.
I agree. I don't think you should destroy property, but I think we make too big a deal out of destroying property as though it's like one of the greatest sins you can commit. And I don't know that property has any soul to it. Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I don't disagree that property is property, but the law is the law. If you come to my home and you smash in my windows, why is that a worse crime than if you go to a building on Columbia's campus and you smash in their windows?
Because at Columbia, you're literally protesting a political stance that the university is taking, whereas in your home, that's your private home.
But what if Josh was a bigot? What if Josh was a bigot?
Well, I come and smash his TV set.
And that's,
it's the same thing.
I mean, that's a.
You brought the show.
That's an office that someone works in. The school owns it. It's their property. They maintain it. They pay for it. They take care of it. The students have agreed to attend there.
I kind of pay for it.
I'm not saying, I'm not saying here that I agree with what they're doing. All I'm saying is we're putting too much emphasis on the fact that it's property. And if they were hurting people, physically hurting people, that bothers me.
In some cases, they have.
I'd rather them smash a window than hit somebody.
I mean, in some cases, they've hurt people. I saw a janitor, I think, at Columbia getting roughed up pretty good, by people trying to get out of the way, the first night when he was just there trying to do his job or whatever.
Yeah, well, that's wrong.
Now, they'll prosecute if they can get that, but I mean, look,
years ago,
the Capitol is the people's property, but those people on January 6th had no right to go in there and do what they did.
Right.
We did not employ nearly as much force as I think we should have.
I think in that case you hit it right on the head. It's the people's property, and what they were doing is they were bashing your property and my property and Brian's property.
Columbia is not the people's
same thing
property.
about the university. Yeah.
Yeah. Do I not pay tuition to pay for some of those windows?
Right.
Yeah. Those have to be replaced, and somebody's got to come up with the money for that. That's going to raise everybody's tuition and fees.
I was just going to say that.
Years ago, when I was involved in demonstrations and so on, I always admonished any kind of activity which would piss off people. In other words, you don't want to piss off people. You want to piss off Columbia University, but you want to get the people on your side. So if you do actions which alienate people from you, that's not that you're not serving.
What would be better for these kids to do if it is indeed really that much of a grassroots movement? Would have been to have gotten together and said, we're walking out of the university and none of us are paying our tuition anymore because we don't like where the money goes. I mean, that would have been a protest, and that would have been a protest I could support because that's within the market. But, we still want to go to school here, but we're going to destroy the buildings. I mean, look, that's against the law.
Well, I don't think anybody
differentiating different properties as different equations of crime.
To begin with, let's separate the destruction which was going into that building, Hamilton Hall, I think it's called, or something, and doing what they did, because that probably wasn't the average protester. Those were outsiders coming in to make trouble,
right?
And they've identified them as such,
and so those people should be removed.
Yeah, but last night they literally threw everybody off the property.
Well, I don't know that these folks are cooperative enough for the police officer to stand there and say, hello, sir, would you be willing to show me your identification?
Exactly.
And, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, these people, that's not how they were treating the police that I saw. When the police have to use saws and
when the police go in with
battering rams to open doors and clear damage to get to the people,
so they probably did more damage than the students did.
Nah.
Yes. What do you mean?
They're the ones that piled up debris so that the cops can't get in. I mean, that's it.
Well, you know, Columbia
is a property. I mean,
it wasn't debris; it was chairs and tables.
Right. I mean, whatever you. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's all different stuff.
I mean, what they could find, yeah.
I just don't.
All I'm saying is that I think that there was a better way to handle all of this, and it was handled very poorly on the part of.
Right. I mean, but I didn't see a lot of cooperation from people, students or whatever at Columbia. I mean, Dartmouth, for example, was able to have a discussion where they invited people from Israelis, an ambassador or something like that, to come and give their side of the story as well. And everyone sat around and listened to both sides. But the people at Columbia aren't interested in hearing the Israeli side. If you don't think the Israelis are right, that's fine. But I'm just saying they're not interested in anything. They're just, what they're doing. We don't want to hear the other side. We've made up our mind, and that's it. And if you don't do what I want, I'm gonna destroy your property.
Kevin just sent me a message
that's called a threat.
Kevin just sent me a message from Oregon where his daughter.
I just sent you what they sent me a few minutes, about an hour ago.
It looks like they're handling it pretty well.
Well, they had discussion, yeah.
Yeah.
So what is Columbia? I've never been on the campus. It's probably a lot of old wood buildings, correct? What are you going to do when they start a fire inside the building? Is that okay?
You do all these ifs. What if they start a fire? Well, they haven't started. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. They haven't started a fire yet. Okay. So when they start the fire, let me know and we'll discuss it. Okay?
Yeah. See, I was a cop for a long time.
I know,
and saw a lot of things escalate. So I don't know if they're going to start a fire. But what are you going to say if they burn the buildings down?
You send a bunch of people in riot gear. Isn't that escalating it?
Yeah.
No.
I mean, I don't need to burn things.
I mean, it's not if that's the response that's required to maintain
use of force,
a decorum of law. I mean,
right.
Look, that's the law. And if you defy it and you're warned. I mean, look. I mean, I know they should talk. These folks don't look like they're interested in talking. They're not. They're making demands. This is,
well, if you say,
like I said, if they wanted to organize a protest and walk out of Columbia and stop paying their tuition and say, I'm taking my parents' money, in most cases, I'm taking my money across the street to Connecticut and I'm going to go to Yale. Okay. Then Columbia would go bankrupt, problem fucking solved. Or they would say, you know what? We're losing money here. We need to figure this shit out. But instead, they just, and the people they interview on TV, it's almost laughable. They can't put two sentences together, and they're talking about apartheid and all these other. I'm like, well, I have no idea what this lady just said. In some cases that I've seen, it's like
I'll tell you, I've seen a lot
have their shit together.
I've seen a lot of people locally because the local news covers it far more in depth than even the national news does. And I've seen some of these students, and they were very articulate. They were very articulate.
Well, I'm sure some of them are, right? Yeah. There's no doubt about that, and I see a lot of the coverage where, the one video that I saw from Columbia, probably 8 out of 10 people is wearing clothing to conceal their face and cover up their mask. Yeah. Mask their face and identities because they don't want people to know who they are. And, look, I wasn't there, but I'm a decent student of history, and I think most of the people who protested in 1968 and 1969, for example, hey, they weren't hiding their face. They were proud to let people know
something, though. I got to tell you,
we're not here to hide our identity.
Let me mention something about demonstrations here for a second. Is that demonstrations have not proved to be the wrong thing to do. We demonstrated against the war in Vietnam. We finally ended the war in Vietnam. We, when we had the protests against racial problems in this country, those came to an end as a result of all the demonstrations. Many times, sometimes it's unfortunate. The only kind of message America is willing to accept is one that kind of threatens violence, and then somebody pays attention. That's the
I think-
problem. Pay
I think
attention. Just pay attention.
If I remember the time, the Vietnam protests, and I was still pretty young then, but I remember them, that most of the time they were peaceful demonstrations until the police went in, and the police didn't know how to handle them. And they started the shit, and then the protesters were basically defending themselves, and then it became chaos.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is that not right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that was before the police knew how to crowd control, things like that.
Well, apparently,
so
they
that was not necessarily a riot as per se until something started it. The protests in those days were peaceful protests, sit-ins, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Who's going to start a bunch of shit when you all sit down and sit around and talk about flowers and stop the war?
Oh, I got tear gassed in Chicago.
Right. Did you go there and ask for that? No.
No, I went there to
the
protest.
Police were untrained in doing that, and they said, you got to get out of here because of all these other people, and they started clubbing people because they wanted you out of there, but there was no reason for that. You were sitting there probably maybe smoking a joint and saying, stop the war.
Yeah, basically. And then we were tear gassed out.
That wasn't your fault. That was the untrained police force.
I don't know that they're necessarily better trained today. I think.
That's another story, but you're right there. But there's also the protester of today is much more aggressive, in my opinion. Much more aggressive. You can't say no about that.
I think at the beginning of the Columbia demonstrations.
Of today, the era of today, the last 10 years.
Yeah, the people who were protesting.
Not just today.
In the very beginning of this, I think had a sincere idea of what they wanted and were protesting it. It's just it gets a little out of hand, especially when
the ship distributors.
The university refuses to talk to them. Like you say at your school, your daughter's school, they're taking this thing on in the correct manner. They're going to see this thing not escalate because they're listening. Okay? They're not just saying, shut up, we're the school, you can't do this. And that's basically what Columbia was saying. And I think part of it had to do with a few days earlier, you remember what kind of started this whole thing? The head of Columbia spoke in front of congressional committee, and then she went back to Columbia, and the protest started over what she had said. Okay.
There could have been mistakes up there. Yeah.
So then she wasn't willing to talk to anybody. She wasn't willing to de-escalate the situation. Instead, hey, I'm the head of the school. You can't do this to us. So, it's just that you...
But it brought in the demonstrators that were saying Hamas is great. I'm a Hamas pig. That kind of crap, brought those people in.
Yeah, but I don't think that most people are for
They weren't probably the minority, but they started the shit.
And by the way, remember one thing. When somebody is against Israel and what they're doing, that is not being anti-Semitic. Okay? Right. In fact, you want to be anti-Semitic? You got to hate Hamas as well because they're Semitic, So
that's the problem with this thing is it's a complicated situation. I don't think a lot of people understand.
Yeah.
And until you understand it, you should keep your mouth shut.
It's been complicated for a long time. Here comes the theme playing behind you. Boy, it's been a good discussion.
Yeehaw.
Wow, this is one I like. This one. Let's do it again. Next time, though, let's use, brass knuckles. I think that would be fine and fun.
I'll wear a helmet tomorrow.
I'll wear a helmet
I got some work done. So that was good.
Yeah, me too.
Did you get some work done?
Yeah, it's good. I had to review a couple things. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, just wait till your kid has to go to school and put up with this, okay?
Yeah, the elementary school, the third graders were protesting today. It's terrible. They're throwing the volleyball.
Watch out, they might start. They're doing high school now. They walk out.
Anyway.
Toilet paper everywhere.
Thanks to Jeff for being here, and thanks to Kevin for being here, and Alan for being here, and Josh. I always a surprise tonight having you here. It's a bonus. Brian, thank you for being here tonight. and getting your work done. Charlie Wallace, thank you. And of course, Tony, thank you very much. Everybody give a big wave goodbye. I'll give a big wave goodbye at you, and then they can say goodbye. Okay, there they go. That's our citizen panel for tonight. Boy, that was a good one. It's nice to have a good one. Anyway, guess what? Amy Manuel is next. She's here with The Intersection. I'll see you again tomorrow night. Same time, same station in life. In the meantime, as always, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? Good night, everybody.